Hello everyone, welcome into my craft space. If you're new here, thank you so much for being here, and I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. If you are a returning friend, welcome back and thank you for your continued support. So it's been a little bit since I made a video. I have been unwell, but now I'm doing a little better, and I realized as I looked around my desk of messiness, I do have a ton of napkin scraps, and I thought we would use those today. So I'm sure, you know, if you guys decoupage and part with your junk journaling, you might have a lot of napkin scraps around as well. So let's make something useful out of them. I have this tape that is sheetrock tape or paper joint tape, whatever you would like to call it. It's really awesome. You can find it in your Home Depot or Lowe's, those kinds of stores, the hardware stores. And you can make big long strips of this, or you can tear it off in sections, and then I'll show you my favorite ways to use it. So I have been working on a botanical journal, and I have some scrap pieces here of this napkin. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I utilize my napkins, sometimes they wind up like torn in crazy ways, and it's hard to store them in any way that will create something useful later on, because they wind up getting all, you know, messed up like this. So we're gonna go ahead and use them before they get any more of a ruined piece. In addition to the napkin scraps, the sheetrock tape, we will also be using some Mod Podge, but you could use like a gel medium, like matte gel medium or gloss gel medium, collage podge, any of those things, those would work as well. I'm gonna go ahead, I've just pulled out a strip and got some Mod Podge here, and we're gonna go ahead and get this laid down in a useful way so that we can save some of this. And it won't be quite like washi tape, because washi tape you can generally see through, and this sheetrock tape is a little bit thicker than that. So it does have a really cool divide line in it, and I'll show you what I like to use that for. So I'm just going to put this Mod Podge on a section. I am a Plaid ambassador, and I use Mod Podge a lot. My favorite one is the satin one, which is what I'm using today. Okay, so let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save much of this little piece that got, it's kind of crunchy actually. I think it has glue or something on it, but so I'm just going to go ahead and take this piece and kind of lay down the part with pattern here. Now, if you like to iron your Mod Podge and get it nice and straight and wrinkle free, you can still use some parchment paper and just go right on over this with an iron. I don't really worry too much about these wrinkles. I just kind of let them be free there. You can also use a water brush and trace out the outline here. I'm just going to go ahead and tear it. I kind of like the torn edge look. Just tear this around here as well. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. You guys can see a little bit better. Okay, so this piece down here, I'm going to go ahead and trim off as well. You could use scissors if you prefer to just straight cut as well, but this works just as good. Okay, then I'll just go ahead and tear around here as well. Alright, so I'll pull this out. See, it was kind of stuck together because it's just been on my desk getting whatever glue and water and ink that this has been collecting here. I'm going to go ahead and add some more Mod Podge underneath of here. Try and get this laid down as flat as I can. Okay, and then these parts that are missing pieces right here, we're just going to go ahead and take some of these other scraps of the same napkin. But you could make it really interesting and use parts of another napkin and layer in that way. Kind of make your own napkin, which would be really pretty and fun. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this one here. I'm going to tear this piece off. And then we'll just keep adding Mod Podge here. You could use glue stick to put this down initially and then put Mod Podge over if that is the way that you like to decoupage. Lots of different methods of adhesives will help you get to the end result there. Okay, and so any place that you feel needs more napkin, you can just go ahead and keep adding some scraps of pieces here. This one, I feel like this piece is probably going to get ruined sticking out like that, so I'm just going to go ahead and add this little butterfly scrap to the bottom. Move this up so you guys can see a little bit. And you can just layer right over the napkins that you've already got on there. That is called like double and triple decoupage. So you can just keep layering until you get the desired effect that you are looking for. I'm going to go ahead and use my Mod Podge brush to kind of pull this apart if it will. And those rough edges will help it to blend. You can also use a little bit of gesso and help it blend in later once it's dry as well, if you feel like you need that little added part of a blend there. Okay, so this has kind of made a mess. Let's see if we can fix it into something that looks decent again. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put Mod Podge over the whole thing just to kind of seal it in there. Oops. Well, that was looking nice. Let's find another piece and put it right there. We'll just scoop this off. And I do have another piece of this green butterfly, so we'll just kind of try and put it back in there. So we mostly need that side. Okay, let's set this down and see what we can do here. I've got my scissors. I'm just going to try and cut around a little bit. Try to avoid the mishap that I just had. Okay, so we can keep that piece like the way that it is, or we can just kind of keep the wing that we need. Kind of blend it in over here. Now some of it's going to be torn off anyways because it's just the edge of the tape that we have. And that's all right. We'll just try and blend it back in there. So if you get rips or tears, don't worry, you can kind of piece them back together. There we go, put some Mod Podge over it. Now we also have this other half that we can put somewhere more near the top, like maybe over this way, or we could put it here. That would be the most easiest place, I think. So right over here. Now when you're decoupaging, if you have pieces of the napkin that you really like and maybe aren't involved in the area that you would like to have them in, feel free to cut those out or tear them out and add them in yourself. I'd like there to be a little more greenery up here, so I'm going to go ahead and use this piece right here. And I'm just going to put it in from the side over there. And it will provide those pieces that I, you know, a little extra grain that I'm kind of looking for over there. So you can kind of patch it in wherever you think needs a little extra of this or that. And I might want to cut off just a little bit of this white part so it doesn't interfere with that butterfly neighboring next door. You can, like I said, use your water brush or a paintbrush and water, kind of tear those edges off, or just use your scissors like I just did. Oops, put some more Mod Podge down, got a little carried away there. Okay. Make sure you get your edges really good so it's nice and sealed in. Any place that you have patched in, make sure that you get those nice and covered with Mod Podge as well. Now the only thing I don't have on this one is some of the blue butterfly that I know was in this napkin. It's kind of a teal colored. There's this one, and then there's also this one here. And I could put it right there. So I think I may just kind of cut into this piece here and take this butterfly here. And we'll just kind of add it in. Now you can see we're still creating scraps, which is just kind of an inevitable problem, but you can keep going with this tape and you know, keep making more of this to use whenever you have a journal that has the theme that you have on your napkins, or the color or whatever it is, and it'll just be ready to go the next time that you need it. And these napkins won't go to waste, these little bits and scraps. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add this right in there. I think that will add a little more greenery and another butterfly there. Okay, and it's okay if things go over the edge, like this one's doing. It just kind of makes it seem like it's one seamless pattern that's just going everywhere. I'll put this up here, kind of trim this off. Okay. We have this little bits of greenery here. We can just easily add in down here. I'll make it a little heavier on the greens, but that's okay. Okay, this is getting a little sticky. Now, when I use Mod Podge, I like to let mine sit to dry naturally. You can use a heat tool if you want to. That is totally okay and acceptable. I'm going to go ahead and set it here to dry, and I'm going to work on a couple of more pieces with some of these other scraps that I have so they don't go to waste as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll off a little strip. And it tears very nicely. You can also just, you know, clean cut it as well. But so I'm going to go ahead and probably put it on fast forward. And you guys can just kind of see the difference of the way that I'm going to piece these ones together. Once your Mod Podge has dried, you can flip these over and easily see where you need to trim the edges here. Oops. With the Mod Podge dried on these napkins, it almost feels like a rice paper by itself, not with this drywall tape, but the part that I'm cutting off. Okay. Okay, so once you get to this part here, you can continue to decorate them. You can add ink to the edges, you can spray them with inks, you can splatter them with paint or gesso, you can even add some stamps to them. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on fast forward and you guys can see some of the things that I add to mine. And I'm mostly going to focus on this one and then I'll show you how to put it in my book. So you can see with just a few stamps, it really changed the look. I absolutely love this one. You could go further, add some splatters, add some extra ink, some sprays, whatever you want to do. You could ink around the edges. If you don't know what you want to do, you can just leave it until you're ready to use it. But either way, it creates a really nice piece of ephemera to use rather than throwing away those napkin scraps that would have probably not made it anyways. Now the really fun thing about this tape is that it has this natural crease there because of the way that it's used for sheetrock. So I'm going to go ahead, you can use it just flat like this. You could cut it in half where that fold is. Once you start putting Mod Podge on it though, it does kind of get a little harder to crease. I'm going to go ahead and fold mine just like this, and I'm going to show you where it's going to go in my botanical journal that I have been working on. These ones I'm just going to go ahead and set aside until I'm ready to use them. And let's go ahead and get out the journal that I've been working on right here. And I had found a page that I wanted to put this on. Right here. I think it will lend itself very nicely right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this just over the edge like this. And it makes a really nice page edger. And you could go ahead and sew right down the side there. You could leave it as a tuck spot. Any number of things. Now this paper on this side is by RachandBella Crafts, and I feel like the green in this just really goes nicely here. I may cut out something of the center and put this little design right back there. I don't know. Let me just double check there's no other place I'd like to put this in the journal. Well, we could put it here. Let's see what it looks like here. I like it there too. And then it provides this edge here on this page instead of that cover page, which I kind of like a little better, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. I don't think I'm going to leave it as a tuck spot. I'm just going to use it as a page edge, and then I probably will sew. And being is how it is divided nicely in half, just sewing one edge, we'll probably sew it right on through to the other side, which will be great. So let me go ahead and glue it down, and then I'll sew. So you can use whatever adhesive you'd like, and if you're gonna sew, you don't need a lot. You don't want to gunk up your machine. You could even hand stitch it, I suppose, if you wanted to put in some hand stitching. Just do some like straight or, you know, stitching along the edge there. I do like the texture that the drywall tape underneath brings with it. I'll go ahead and glue this here in the center, just enough to hold it down. Now, this book I have made a slipped spine so the pages come out to easily sew on and work with as I continue to work this journal. I think this adds a really nice detail to the edge of the page here. And then we've got a little excess here at the bottom, so we'll just snip that down. And you could even use this little piece just as a little snippet somewhere else. Just kind of glue it on if you're collaging and what have you. Okay, so let's see, this piece here should just pull right out. Oops, I've got a paper clip up there. Okay, so there it is, pulled out. I'm gonna go ahead and go stitch this, and then I'll be back and we can take a look. This has been stitched on here, and I absolutely love it. I love the texture that it provides on the edge of the pages, and it did line up perfectly with the sewing machine here on the back side as well. So it's got kind of a fun little edge to it, and definitely adds some texture and kind of some dimension there. And then we'll just go ahead and slip this right back in to our signature here. Again, another huge perk of working with this elastic spine. Let's see. A little challenging to do one page at a time, but it's very easily done. So I absolutely love the addition that is adding to my book. And you can see it adds a lot of color and dimension and texture, and even if we leave this page plain here, there's plenty of room to do some journaling or add some photos, add some extra ephemera, and it just adds some uniqueness here to the back of this. You could keep going, you could make a whole cover out of this, you could add any number of things to this decoupaged sheetrock tape. So I really love it. I hope you guys will give it a try. Head out to the garage, ladies, or to the hardware store and get your own roll of sheetrock tape. It's really inexpensive. I think it was just a few dollars, and you get quite a lot of it here. So I've definitely had some fun with it, and we'll be including it in more of the books that I'm making, and definitely doing this with my napkin scraps so that I don't have to waste them and throw them away. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you've tried this. Let me know if you think it's unique and you like it, or how you would do it differently. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. And join me on Facebook and some of my other social platforms. I do post different things on Instagram, and we do Facebook Lives every week, and I'd love to have you join me there as well. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.